woods. How many of you ever peed your pants? Anybody ever peed? All right, I have. And he goes into the woods, and he can't see us. We are face down, pitch black dark. He goes into the woods, and he sits there in the woods for 2 hours. I thought I was in Vietnam. Like I had just marched into enemy camp, and I have to camp out there. You know what I mean? And he sat there for 2 hours. He's cussing, and he's just waiting on us. And I'm trying not to breathe, you know. And finally, thank God, he gets up and he gets back in his truck and he leaves. That was enough. I thought that was it. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna a shotgun wound to the chest, and I'm dead. And being chased is no fun. I think many of us probably know what that feeling is like, and it seems like I had a lot of those moments in middle and especially high school where I was getting chased by something. And when all of that was going down and someone was after me, I never just said, hey, I'm just gonna sit here and kind of see what happens and wait this one out. Like, no, the first thing on my mind was, I gotta flee. I gotta get out of here. I gotta run away. I gotta flee and get as far away as I absolutely can. You know, that word flee is a word that simply means to run, to try and escape, and it's in reference to trying to get away from someone or something that's chasing you. And tonight in this room, there's two types of people. There's two types of runners. There's people who are running away from some things, and there are people who are running after some things. Two types of people. Either you're gonna be motivated by fear, or you're gonna be motivated by passion and love and drive. What's your motivation to your running? And maybe tonight you're the person who's running away from some things. Well, what are you running away from? Well, maybe you're running away from your past. You don't like your past is ugly, and when you think about it, it makes you uncomfortable, the things that you did, or maybe perhaps what you went through, and so you're trying to run away from your past. Maybe you're running away from your family, a bad relationship, a failed marriage that didn't work out and there was divorce. Maybe you're running away from bad patterns and habits and sin and mistakes and hurt. You could be running away from a lot of different things. But others in here, you're not running away from something, but you're actually running towards something. Both types are runners, but the focus is different. You see, for one, the focus is on what's behind them. But for the second, the focus is on what's ahead of them. I want to be the second type of runner, SUB30. I want to be the person that presses on towards the great calling that's in Jesus Christ. I don't want to be the person that's caught up my whole life with what's after me and what's chasing me and the past and the hurt and the pain that haunts me. I want to set my sights on what the Lord Jesus Christ has in front of me and run after the purposes and the plan. Two types of runners. And I find it very interesting tonight when we look at that verse in 2 Timothy. Paul is exhorting Timothy, and he says, flee the evil desires and pursue righteousness, faith, and love. He uses two incredible words, flee and pursue. If you're taking notes, write those down. Flee and pursue. That word pursue means to follow hard after something. To follow hard. So there's fleers and there's followers. And Paul first encourages Timothy to flee. So it's kind of like a two-part encouragement from Paul. The first thing he says, hey, young man, here's what you need to know. You got to flee some stuff. You got to flee the things in your life that want to crush the call of God. You got to flee the things that are after you to destroy you. I actually wrote some things down. I call them like toxic influences. When I preach to young people, I'll preach to them about toxic influences. You got to flee the toxic stuff. Why is it toxic? Because if you keep drinking it down, it'll kill you. That's why it's toxic. Just for the sake of being, having some application here, let me give you some things. You need to flee, if you haven't already, toxic television. Like this is very applicable right here. Okay, toxic television. Man, the other day I'm watching TV and I come across this promotion for this brand new show called Mistresses. Okay, I don't know if you've seen the deal for that. I don't know who it is. NBC, ABC. I don't know who does. It's a show called Mistresses. And as I watch this promotion, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on in this particular show that no doubt is going to have multiple seasons. Basically, it's going to be Americans posting up on the couch on whatever night of the week, and they're just watching infidelity happen every single episode. You're just watching. It's called Mistresses, not wives. In other words, no covenant, no faithfulness, none of that stuff. It's just the mistress. And America will sit in front of their television screens and we'll all practice voyeurism as we watch people just have sex with one another. And that's what the show's ultimately going to be about. You see, you know why that's toxic is because somewhere in the United States, probably in many, many homes, A husband and a wife, they're going to post up and they're going to click on the TV and this show's going to be on. Hey, honey, this looks like a good one. And as they sit there and watch this show, what's going to begin to happen is the enemy's going to come. He's going to use toxic television to mess your mind up. So as the husband sits there, he's thinking to himself, well, man, these guys on this show, it looks like, so man, they got all these women going on and it's just, he looks happy and he'll begin to ask himself, and the enemy will play mind games and he'll say to himself, well, man, is one woman really the right thing? Maybe it's multiple people. I guess I don't know. And would I be happier? Am I having good sex right now? Or is that sex what I should be having? And all of a sudden, the enemy creeps into our living rooms through our televisions. And toxic television kills and destroys families. It's something that you better right now in your 20s, 30s, flee from. Because maybe you came from a home where maybe it wasn't television, but maybe it was something else that was toxic that was brought into your home. And maybe it destroyed your parents and what they had. And maybe they don't have it anymore because of what got in. Toxic television, there's toxic music, there's toxic language. There's so many people. You ever met that person and it's like, not that there's ever an excuse, I guess, to use profanity or whatever, but it's like they just cuss all the time. And here's the deal, it's like it makes people sound so ignorant. And to the person who has to drop an F-bomb every other word, it's like for me, I just look at you and think, well, you must not be that educated. If that's the only way you can express yourself, then that's just what I'm going to assume, is that you dropped out, you're not very educated, and that's why you talk the way you talk. You got to flee, even what's coming out of your mouth. You got to flee that stuff. Matthew chapter 12 says, for the mouth speaks out of what's in the heart. Proverbs 18, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat of its fruit. What comes out of your mouth is important. You better flee if it's destruction coming out of your mouth. Toxic relationships, hello. You got to flee toxic relationships. I'll say this, wrong voices lead to wrong choices. And the reason you've been making a lot of wrong choices is because you've surrounded yourself with relationships of the wrong voices. Maybe it's friends or maybe it's that boyfriend, girlfriend that you're with right now, but it's just a wrong voice that's telling you the wrong thing on Friday and Saturday night. Hello. And it's leading to wrong choices. You got to flee that kind of stuff. You got to flee toxic hobbies. Toxic hobbies, this is just simple stuff. It's just like the person who, they can't see past the weekend. You ever met that person, they can't see past Friday night, and all they ever think about is getting drunk? They just drink like a fish. They just smoke it up all the time, hitting the devil's lettuce every Friday night, That's just what on that Mary Jane, that's what they're on, That Pineapple Express, whatever. It's just toxic hobbies. And if you keep playing with the toxic hobby, it'll destroy your life. You got to flee that. You see, the bottom line is this. There's a difference between fleeing and pursuing. There's a big difference. And I love the fact that Paul didn't just stop at fleeing and leave it there. No, he went on to say, hey, don't just flee the wrong stuff. You got to pursue the right stuff. Don't just flee wrong, pursue right. You see, the picture of Christianity in this relationship with God is not supposed to be a picture of just fleeing bad things. It's supposed to be a picture of pursuing really, really good things that are in Jesus Christ. In the 1980s and 90s, there was a famous campaign by a woman named Nancy Reagan, and it was the Just Say No campaign. Anyone remember that? You were in school, and they came through the public school system, just say no. Hey, what are you going to do? You get offered drugs. I'm going to say no, just say no. Everywhere, shirts and hats and everything. The firemen would come in, or was that something different? No, that was stop, drop, and roll. I don't know, but just say no, just say no. But here we are in 2013, and what's happening? Everybody's still smoking. Everybody's still doing drugs. The campaign did not work. It didn't work. It was, maybe it worked for a couple years, but long term it didn't work. Why? Because we told an entire generation of young people what to say no to. We never told them what to say yes to. You got to tell them what to say yes to. And the problem with a lot of things in our generation is that they come to church, our friends, they come to church, and all they hear is a big no. No. And no one wants to go to church because they think it's just a big no. No fun, no cool, no good friends, no excitement, no energy. Like we just sit around and we recite the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not do this. You better not do that. You better have no fun. Thou shalt be bored. You know what I mean? You better not do no. And we think it's just a no, when in reality, Jesus Christ and this faith is a giant yes. It's a giant yes and amen in Jesus. Christianity is more about the yes and the things that I'm running after. It's not just about the things that I'm running away from. It's a shame that more people associate our faith for what we are against rather than what we're for. It's a shame that most of our friends at university, they know the Christian faith more because of what we stand against, and they know nothing about what we stand for. Our unbelieving friends, they could come in here and they could rattle off 10 things the church is against just like that. But they don't know anything about what we're for. We need to start to flip that mentality. We need to start to not just feed our friends and the people around us all the no's of the Bible. We need to give them the yes and amen that's in Jesus. We need to tell them that yes, God is for your purpose. Yes, He is for your destiny. Yes, He is for you succeeding in this life according to the will of God. Yes, He is for you finding hope and joy and peace and salvation in His Son, Jesus Christ. He is for all of those things, and they're all good things. Yes, God is for you, and people have taken Christianity, they've made it a religion of the no. Of the no. Oh, you want to be a Christian, huh? You want to be a Christian? Okay, that's good. I'm glad you want to be a Christian. Hey, here's the 52 book of no's right here. I'm going to need you to read this, okay? Read it all, okay? And if it's in this book, you cannot do it, okay? Like, don't do it. You'll go to hell. Ever heard of that, huh? Ringing any bells? Hell's bells, AC/DC? All right. Like, you can't do it, all right? Read up on it. Hey, and by the way, if you ever break the law, you're dead, okay? Dead. And that's how we treat people. And that's how so many people perceive Christianity and life with Jesus. Oh, it's just a big no. It's just a big no. I'll go to church. What's your church like? I bet they're going to tell me I'm not dressed right, huh? But they're going to tell me something's wrong with my tattoos. But they're going to tell me something, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's just, that's all people think. Am I right? I mean, no. They just think it's the religion of the no. And you know what happens when people only get the no? The no is what happens when you live like that is you will live every day in fear, wondering if today is the day I'm going to screw up again. When all you know is the no's, you walk around and it cripples you in your fear. Why? Because you're constantly focused on what is chasing you and you're not focused on what's ahead of you. Because the sin, oh my gosh, the sin, and man, okay, I can't cuss today. I can't cuss. Pastor said something wrong about cussing. I can't cuss. And hey, I walk into the bar. Oh my God, it's beer. I can't go over there. And it's all the no, and they just walk around and they're paralyzed, and they're living in fear, and they're not looking forward because they're looking at what's behind. I don't want to be a freaked out fleer. I want to be a passionate pursuer. A passionate pursuer of Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen like little kids, and I'm talking like little kids play football? Like as soon as you could play football, you go and you watch them play football. Like it's the cutest thing in the world, isn't it? Like they're awesome. What I've noticed when little kids play football is this. As soon as like the little quarterback, he gets the ball and he runs back and he hands it to the little running back. The running back, he like takes off, but as soon as he sees the defense, he does one of these. He's like, oh my God, and he's just running all over the field, and mom and dad and everyone are yelling, run to score a touchdown, run straight, and he's just running everywhere because he's focused on what's chasing him. He's not focused on the end zone. He's just running around in all these circles, and unfortunately, many Christians spend their time running away from the bad things and the sin issues, and they actually never end up reaching the prize.